Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This will be day 105 of building the flight booking engine. I've made some changes and I just created infrastructure that we had in the previous video. So right now, I want to show you the step I'm taking to push this to the next level, and that is by adding Ingress. I think I should start explaining by maybe using the Helm template first, then we can go on to the actual infrastructure. So if you look at the API ingress.yaml file, it is simply another Helm template, which will be rendered only when a particular condition is met. And that condition will be that when values.ingress.enabled is true, then we shall render all these lines. Now, where does that come from? Let's go to the values.yaml. So in values.yaml, I've added some config from line 27 to 34. Like you see, we have ingress, okay, is now enabled and not enabled actually, it's false. The class name, which is empty, this will be supplied and you'll see soon where. Then you have path, we have live, the path type is exact because it has to match exactly this. Then we have another path ready, and also its path type is exact. When you go to the values staging.yaml, we override that. I think this, we say ingress will be enabled for staging, and the class name will be arrow staging ALB. So ALB is the application load balancer or AWS load balancer. So the M8P application or AWS, I'm not quite sure, but that is something you can quickly cross-check by doing a quick search in your browser. So after that, we now go to the API ingress.yaml. So like you say, this will be rendered only and only when we have this value ingress.enabled being true. So we have values.ingress.enabled. Okay, and then we have the type of resource. This type of resource is an ingress type of resource. Okay, that is why we have kind being equals to ingress, and we have other types like the pod disruption budget. We've had a type of service, we've had a type of a job, we have a type of a deployment. Now we're looking at a type of ingress, and this ingress is of the API version networking.ks.io/v1. This is the API version. So our resource code ingress is of this type, and its name will be the release name, then dash API. So the release name is the name that we shall put when we are running the Helm command, like you've seen in the previous videos. If you don't know what Helm is, please, I encourage you to watch the past 5 or 6 videos in this playlist. You will learn everything you need to know about Helm. Now, let's go on to the spec or the configuration or specification for this ingress resource. So the first thing you see right here is the ingress class name. So ingress class name simply refers to the value which will be got from the values.ingress.classname. Okay, and this will give us the name of the resource of the ingress class that we need. And you're going to see when we go to values staging, we see that the value here is arrow staging ALB. So this will be the value that will be passed right here on line 7. And you're going to see where this ingress class name is going to come in very, very important. Okay, we need the ingress class name, and you're going to see it. It's simply, think of it as a label pointing to the actual ingress class that will be responsible for giving us the ingress controller. So we then go to the rules. So when we go to rules, we have one for HTTP. Under HTTP, we have path, and under path, we then do a range. So range, think of it as the for loop or a loop generally. So it starts at line 11 and ends at line 19. The one on line 20 is an end for the first if statement on line 1. So let's go back to the path. So for the path, we have, first of all, its value here being .path. So this will extract the value from values dot staging here, value staging. So let me open both of them side by side. So in value staging, we have value staging will have a value that comes from this. Let me quickly open this. So in values.yaml, we have path, okay, having this live and ready. And then the value staging, of course, only overrides the enabled and class name. So in API Ingress.yaml, we shall have the value path, okay, rendered for here and the path type. So we shall have both live and exact, then ready and exact being rendered right here. So they are extracted and rendered for us right here. And the backend service for each of them will be the service that we defined as the release name, okay, the Helm release name dash API. And then it gives the port, okay, where that service will be located. So if we go back to values, we have if you look at it, says values.service.port, we should find it somewhere here. Service.port will be port 80. And then this other one, release name. If you go to the service, okay. Sorry, can I locate it very fast right here? So we have the service name being here. So this service resource is being referenced right here because Ingress will give us the network, okay, that is coming from the internet. And this network from the internet will be forwarded or routed to our service. And then our service on this particular port, which will be port 80, will give our pods that traffic. Okay, that's something cool. Now let's move on to another file. So I will close this, close that. I think we don't need them anymore. Maybe we shall need this. So let me open this and then close this. So for Helm, those are the only changes I made. Now let's go to ALB Ingress class.yaml. So right here, you're going to see why we needed a number of things. So let's start. Here we have two kinds, okay, or two resources. One is called Ingress class params, another one is called Ingress class, and I'm going to explain them. So these are mainly infrastructure kind of things. That's why I put it in the Terraform directory. If you have something different or another name that you wanted to give it, please feel free to make changes because you know the link to the code is in the description. Let's go ahead. Now we have the API version being eks.amazonaws.com/1 or v1. Now, actually, it's not one, but v1. Then we have networking.k8.io/v1. So you know that one is from EKS, another one is from networking.kubernetes. So what's the difference? One is that actually it's only one difference. The first one is that EKS.amazon is pointing to a custom Kubernetes resource created by Amazon, okay? A custom Amazon EKS Kubernetes resource, or simply a custom Kubernetes resource. Then this other one here on line 11 is a native resource by Kubernetes. Now, the first one here that you're seeing is called Ingress class param. Think of them as arguments, okay? Think of this resource as an argument or configuration or parameters for another resource. So Ingress class params is an argument or params or configuration for the Ingress class, like you're going to see. So it has a name called arrow staging, ALB, okay? Then spectral scheme means that this is going to be internet facing, expecting to get traffic from the internet, okay? And then it has namespace, match labels, environment, staging, okay? And this has to be exact. You're going to see where this label is going to be created in the workflow. So we have its environment tagged, not tagged exactly, but can I say restricted to staging, and it is internet facing. Then we have, of course, if it's not internet facing, it will be only for internal use. Then we have the Ingress class itself. So the Ingress class itself is the one which will be responsible for telling us the Ingress controller, which will be the EKS Application Load Balancer. So it has a name. Its name is the Arrow Staging ALB, okay? And the spec controller refers to the actual controller, okay? The actual controller that is going to be created, okay, for us. And it will be responsible for picking traffic from the internet and forwarding it to our services. So this will be eks.amazonaws.com/ALB. And then the parameters now come from right here on from the ingress class params. So we have the API group, okay, referring to eks.amazon.com, and the kind, okay, is of type ingress class params, okay. Then this name you're seeing here, error staging ALB, is a reference to this one here, okay, on line 4. So line 20 is referencing line 4. In other words, all this, okay, is pointing to this ingress resource on line 2, okay, using its name, as simple as that. Now we need to move on. If there's anything that's not clear, please let me know. I'm going very fast because we have touched so many of these concepts in the past 6 or 5 videos or so, and so I expect you to understand them. If you're still struggling, please visit those videos and watch them as many times as you can. I was quite slow because they were live streams, and you can actually pick up something. If anything is confusing you, leave a question in the comment section. Now, if you're enjoying this so far, please like the video, okay, and share it with anybody who can benefit from the same. So let's go down. I think we need now to go to main.tf, okay. So in main.tf, I will close this. We have additions, okay. We have the AWS EC2 tag resource being created, okay. But the public load balancer subnet is simply a name that we use internally for referring to this resource. So it will be AWS EC2 tag dot public load balancer subnets, as simple as that. Now, what will this EC2 tag do? It is simply required for us to tag all the subnets. Why? Because it will be easy or very convenient for our infrastructure to locate, for AWS EKS mode, okay, to locate the a subnet or subnets which are suitable for us to have our ingress, okay, where to plug in that application load balancer. We need it for that, okay. So to make it easy, we put the EC2 tag. It is think of it as a proper requirement, something required to easily identify subnets where your load balancer resource is going to be deployed or created. So on line 13, we have a for each, okay. It's think of it as a loop, okay. And this for each simply collects, it discovers all the subnets in the default VPC. So it's data.aws subnets.default.ids, okay. Discovers all subnets, okay, in the default VPC and converts them to a set, okay, to ensure that we have no duplicates. Then on line 15, for every value, okay, so each refers to the current subnet ID, okay, to the current subnet, okay, for ID. So for each, okay, we get the value, okay, that will be the resource ID, and then the key, okay, will be pointing to kubernetes.io role ELB, okay. This simply means that we are expecting to have elastic load balancing capabilities, okay, so that we can be able to have an elastic IP sort of and be able to receive traffic from the internet. So value equals to 1, think of it as just a marker. And then depends on EKS cluster.staging, meaning before we have this tag or our subnets being tagged, we want the cluster to be created first, okay? And then the opposite will be true when we are destroying, okay? The tags will be destroyed first. The tag will be destroyed first, okay? Then we shall have the cluster, okay? So cluster created first before the EC2 tag. When the AWS EC2 tag is being destroyed, it will be destroyed first, then we have the cluster being destroyed second. So here there's no other change. This is just the main.tf, and it remains as simple as it has been. So I think I'll close Helm, I'll close Terraform. Wait, I think, let me see. Yeah, I think it's clean. Then we can now go to the workflow. So in the workflow here, there's actually nothing really hard, okay? Very, very simple. I'll start with this one, start with it, that creates for us the infrastructure and focus on the changes. If this is your first time watching this, check the video in the playlist, okay, the previous video. You'll find an explanation on all this. So let's start on the changes. If I go down, okay, right here we have a new step, okay, called publish staging infrastructure configuration. Okay, so this only happens when the event name is push or when we do a manual apply operation or apply trigger. So is this the one? No. Sorry, it's not the one. Sorry, it's this other one here up. So let me minimize all this to avoid confusion. So minimize this. Is this other one? Okay, sorry, I was actually going to wonder. Even the name wouldn't make sense for this video. So let's say it's this, okay? It is actually. So configure public ALB Ingress class, okay? This step will happen only when it's a push, okay? Or when we manually trigger the apply operation. Then we run, okay? So run is going to execute a command, and this pipe simply means we're going to have a multi-line command, okay? So we're saying kubectl create a namespace, okay? Kubernetes namespace, okay? By now I expect that if you've been following, you know where this is coming from. So we create a namespace, and then we say dry run client, okay, minus o YAML, okay? So dry run client and minus o YAML will ensure that the output of create namespace, okay, is given to us in a YAML format, okay? It's given us in a YAML format. And this output will be piped, okay, using this pipe symbol to kubectl apply, okay, kubectl apply, okay, minus f. So this simply will apply for us the YAML namespace create, okay, and will create for us that namespace as we need it. Then after that, we have the next one which says kubectl label namespace, okay? Then you specify the same namespace, environment equals to staging override, okay? So I hope you can now see that we have label namespace referring to what I showed you in the previous manifest of Kubernetes, okay? So this is where the label is being specified for the environment, which is staging, and then we simply say override. This helps us to change the value of the label. Then finally we say kubectl apply, okay, minus f. We specify the Terraform file, okay, which is which is just right down here, this one here, okay, and you saw it right here in action when I explained it, and it's quite easy like you saw. So you see, when we do this, we don't specify the namespace. Why? Because this is going to be a cluster wide operation, okay? It is not namespace specific. It is a cluster wide operation. Okay, so I think this is good. If I look through right here on the right, I don't see anything green except this, okay? By the way, I intentionally didn't explain what dry run client is because I mentioned it in the previous video. I hope you do remember. If you do remember, please explain it in the comment section. What does dry run equals to client mean? Okay, please explain that. Okay, I almost beat my tongue. Where I come from, there is a, can I call it like an effect, okay? Depending on the languages you speak, okay? Instead of run, you can say LAN. And instead of client, you can say client or client. In other words, replacing the L with an R and the R with the L. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. Okay, so I hope you're able to understand what this means. So I'll close that and go to the other file, which is the deploy backend. So deploy backend has a number of changes, not so many. We have right here in the diagnose failed deployment, we have a few checks, okay? Not checks, but statements that I added, okay? So the first one is we simply want to get more information about the ingress. So it's a kubectl minus namespace, specify the namespace itself, okay? Get ingress / arrow backend API minus output wide, then this set true. What does this do? This simply says we want to get output, okay? We want to get information like a summary kind of information about the ingress, okay? In case there's anything failing, we simply exit with true. So this pipe simply means that these two pipes, not a pipe, but these two pipes simply mean that if this first part of the command fails, okay, then execute the second part. So the second part will simply exit with a 0 instead of exiting with a 1. Then we have the same thing here, not same but similar. It says kubectl namespace, specify the namespace, describe the same ingress resource, 2 pipes, then true. So if this fails, then we have a true here, meaning we shall exit with 0 and not 1, which is good for Linux, so that this workflow does not get terminated. Now, okay, get and describe, what's the difference? The difference is that get is sort of a summary, but describe will give us much more information about like the status, events, and so on. Let's now move on down here. Sorry about that. Okay, we have this. So it says smoke test backend, okay, with a few changes. Okay, we have the ingress name being error backend API, then the host name. At this point, the host name is not known, so it is uh, an empty string. Okay, so we do an attempt. Okay, do 60 attempts. Okay, think of this as a for loop. Okay, so we do 60 attempts, and then we try to build that ALB host name. Okay, how do you do that? By saying kubectl namespace, we specify the namespace we're interested in, then say get ingress, okay, pass the ingress name, okay, minus minus output, JSON path. We specify that we want the status.loadbalancer.ingress0.hostname is what we are interested in. In case of issues, then we just send it to dev now. So dev now simply says you're trying to make an error, okay, or something disappear in Linux, okay, and then all true. Okay, so if this fails, then execute this. Yeah, so this is how we do get the ALB host name. So these $sign and bracket, okay, simply help you to pass a variable in a string in Linux. Then we go on. Actually, it may not be Linux, but shell in general. Okay, then down here, in case we get the ALB host name, meaning if there's at least a character in this variable, then we break, we stop the iterations. Okay, we stop the loop from operating. Sorry about that sound. That is from my speaker. I think it detected something, and so probably power or something is back. So let's continue. When we now move on right here, we have a number of items. Actually, before getting back here, all right, let's actually go on. Okay, but before I explain this, you see this sleep 10, okay, simply means that for every 1 to 60 attempts, okay, we have a break or a sleep time of 10 seconds, which means 10 times 60, you have around 600 seconds, which I think is about, is it 10 minutes? Oh, I hope I'm not wrong, okay, about 10 minutes, maybe roughly, okay, you leave in the comment section if I'm wrong. All right, then it says on this line, if the attempt is equals to 60, okay, then we say kubectl, okay, we want to pick in that from that exact namespace, okay, we describe the ingress resource, meaning we want more details about it, okay. Then we say echo ingress did not receive an ALB hostname within 10 minutes, okay, yeah, so I was not right. And then this is sent to standard error, okay, and then we exit with a 1, meaning it has failed, yeah. So if we reach this attempt, then we know that, yeah, things are bad. Otherwise, if we get something, okay, then we won't have to reach here because this break statement would have been executed. Then we say done. On this other line, line 256, we do another 60 attempts. In this case, we're simply trying to think of it as pinging, okay, but using curl, okay. So we say that if curl, okay, fail silent show error, okay, meaning in case of an error, fail it, okay, and don't be verbose, be silent about it. Don't throw and output a lot of stuff, okay, but we want to show the error details only, okay. Then we can do this, okay, this statement. So you see, it's an HTTP having the ALB hostname, okay, /live, then we send to the dev now, okay, just killing it, it's like hiding it, okay. Okay, then of course we break the for loop. Then here, if we have the attempt being 60, meaning we have reached the 60th attempt, okay, then in that case we do that, okay, we echo and say ALB did not become healthy within 10 minutes. Wait, sorry, did I misunderstand something here? Okay, Yeah, sorry, let's go on. Sometimes you can rush and think through your head in the upside down. Okay, and so we also sleep for 10 seconds for every attempt from attempt 1 to attempt 60. Then of course this ends the if statement, this ends the for statement up here. Then finally we have simply here same simply common simple and simply saying cal fail silent show error. Okay, then we heal, then we hit that endpoint. Okay, yeah, then we simply echo this and redirect it into this. Okay, and then echo it finally. Okay, and also push it into the GitHub step summary. Okay, so this information is simply redirected into this GitHub step summary, GitHub step summary, and also this is also redirected into this GitHub step summary. So yeah, that's it for now. So I hope we have some success with this before we move on to the closing stages of this. Can I call it as stages of this project? So let me see git status. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna commit. I think we have to git add. Yeah, git add this. Then what else do we have? This one. Okay. I believe right now, many of you are also struggling like me to think of commit names. You even get anxious when you think of a commit name because AI has made us, I don't know, really lazy that you can't creatively think of a name, variable name or commit name. I think we're going to reach that point whereby developers are struggling with proper variable names. Okay, so status, just to be sure everything is good. All right, so what can I do? Git commit -m. I'll say add ingress. Can I say ingress infra helm template and workflow? Okay, I think this commit name makes sense. Okay, okay, hit enter. Okay, I am going to disable, by the way, that. Oh, I get this. There is a pre-commit failing, but I think I'm going to disable it. I've seen projects whereby pre-commit can take, I don't know, millions of years. Not disable it, but I'll just bypass it by saying -- no verify. I think this is it. Okay. Then I'll push. Okay. Actually, I should have pushed the infra alone first. Okay. To create the infra. Then come and create the, not create, but push the deployment. So let's go to GitHub. Has anything changed? Let me expand this. Okay. They are right here. Okay. Yeah. Like I told you, you see, they're now going to like race against each other. So let me open this in another tab. Open this here. Open that there. Okay, I hope it. I might have to actually rerun this other one here, okay, of deploying. So I feel like deploying is going to run way faster, okay? Shouldn't have actually pushed it. Anyway, it's okay. Let's have infra running. So infra is done, okay? Oh, I like this. So infra ran before, yeah, which is nice. So here we're still running the tests, okay? So we've just logged into ECR, push the image, we're building the image, okay? Actually, we haven't pushed, we're still building the image, still building the image. This is like magic. Okay, so our ingress is all good here. Okay, yeah, all good. So building, so we're pushing the image, preparing, waiting, pushed. So a number of layers are being pushed. Let's wait. This is my favorite part of DevOps. I don't know what yours is, but when it happens like so, and then you have a green, okay, a green check mark, be like, yeah, yeah, I've got something cool. Okay, so let's wait. Oh, why is pushing taking long? Yeah, so if it fails, then yeah, I try to fix it. So I want to really wrap this up and go on to AI. Like I really wanted to focus on it a lot. Okay, back and deployed with Helm. Okay, the rollouts have been verified. That happened so quick. You see that between the pushing image to set up Helm, all these, they ran just too fast. Okay, so you can see here we're saying it says could not resolve this. Okay, let's wait. Okay, maybe it is still being the hostname is still being resolved. Okay, it fails, well and good. Okay, I'll just maybe either increase the timeout or diagnose anything which could be wrong. Yeah, but this is good so far. Maybe I will stop recording the video and then fix it, or wait, what am I even saying? Yeah, stop recording the video, fix it, and then add it to this video as an extension, or just use it or explain it in the next part. But maybe it's even best to finish it here. Let me see. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8. We need 2 more. Okay. So I seen this. The backend API and Worker were successfully rolled out. You remember that the what is it called? The port forwarding was working. Yeah, so I think essentially this is normal. What I was reading in the documentation takes some time. That is why it was necessary to put those multiple, can I call them steps? Okay. Please wrap up. Let's have it wrapping up. Sorry for making this video unnecessarily long, but I will put the other part of solution, whatever. Okay. Oh, I'll not expand this. It's expanding and then you reveal stuff. Okay. Let me not keep you guys here forever. Let me pause the video and then I'll be back. Guys. As soon as I went to pause the video in OBS, it actually resolved the host. So look at that. Are you seeing this? Status ready. I was getting nervous. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Wow. So logging out of registry, post job, blah, blah, blah. Check out repository, stopping containers, fixing permission, service stopped. Okay. Yeah, this is, yes, this is good. This is good. This is good. So I want to rerun this. Okay. Rerun job. Okay. I want to see something, especially on that stage of what is it called? What is it called? What is it called? Am I losing words at the last minute? The stage that took long. Was it the deploy? Not deploy. Yes, I think it was the deploy. All right, we initialize the container. So since this one is passing, okay, after you know what I'm going to do, I'm going to come here and crash it. Okay. Actually, let's come here to provision and tap and say change this to destroy and hit the button. Okay. So, okay, installing backend dependencies. They're now running the tests. Okay. The tests are now passing. They're passing. They're passing. Life is good. Life is good. Okay. Connection refused. I need to organize a test. Okay. 2022 test passed. Okay. Image. I like the image part being fast because it already exists. Okay. So configuring cube, config everything, backend Helm chart. Okay. We're now deploying the Helm chart. Oh, actually what took long was the smoke test, okay? Not the deploying. Okay, that was fast. Good. So I can minimize that, minimize that, minimize that, minimize that. So you see this time the smoke test was fast because it already exists. Okay. So yeah, if I open this, you can see the code. Okay. Attempt 1 to 60. Do this. Okay. Wow. I've actually exposed secrets. Okay. Environment variable. But I guess this can't hurt me because you still need those secrets. Okay, let me close this, close that. Yeah, I just wanted to see how long the smoke test backend would take. Okay, yeah, it took 1 second. I forgot to look at the time in the previous one. I guess I'll just look back in the video and see. All right, yeah, release error backend has been upgraded. Happy Helmi. Yeah, this has been nice. Thank you for learning with me. Finally, because I don't want to spend money, I'm going to come here, run workflow, and boom, destroy it. Okay. Yeah. So destroy it. Of course, I'm not going to allow you watch this and boy with it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video or live stream. Bye for now. And by the way, before I forget, we have AI agents coming soon, but it's going to be can I say classes? Many of you suggested it should be like classes. So for those who are interested, you look out for the Discord. We'll have the announcements on Discord and then record those sessions for those who are not able to join, and then I'll share them right here on YouTube. Bye for now. Talk to you soon.